Big weekend coming up. Starts Thursday night at 7, and then Friday night at 6, and then Saturday at 11. Used to do, when I started, fellas, you know I'm an old man. Very old man. It was 12 rounds, one day. Wow. We started at 6 a.m., and we didn't stop until Mr. Irrelevant was chosen.
How many times did Curly Lambeau talk to the media?
After every pick, as a matter of fact. Right after he took, Cecil Isbell in that first round. Now, cut it out.
In the 100-year history of the Packers, what's been your favorite year?
Oh, yeah. Well, geez, I'm almost halfay to the thing. That's ridiculous.
We're at the Prohibition Lounge, and you actually
Yeah,
covered the team through Prohibition.
Yeah, really.
True.
Did you? I don't know. You were at Cliff's thing when they talked about the 100th season?
I was not.
Oh,
No,
you weren't.
this was during the
It was
show.
interesting though because he said one of the reasons the Packers survived early on in the very early days is that Green Bay was a wild
Wild West.
Yeah,
Steve.
hell with
Yeah.
prohibition. I mean, the owners loved coming here because they could drink. The teams loved coming here because they could party. When around the rest of the country, they could not. And so Green Bay was a hot spot.
So a lot like tonight's show.
It's just exactly like tonight's show. All right.
It continues today.
Pass rushers and corners. We come. Hubes, are we going to see a 1983 revisited? 6 quarterbacks taken Thursday night?
It sounds like it, which is great for the Packers who are at 14, where obviously the more quarterbacks they
Right.
go
I
early,
agree.
the better the talent. Either the better the talent that comes down to them, or some team is going to look at Green Bay at 14 and say, "Hey, I want a quarterback. I want your pick." And Gutekunst walks out there with a couple extra picks, which, as you talk about the number of needs, more picks wouldn't be a bad thing.
All right, here's my trivia question for another bunch of Brewer tickets. Out of that 1983 quarterback class, how many Super Bowls were won by those quarterbacks? All right. Who said 2? John Elway had 2. Marino, none. Kelly, none.
Yep.
Blackledge, none. Eason, none. And who was the last one? I'm thinking of the 6th one.
Whoever he is, he had none.
He had none. 2's right. I'll send you to a Brewer game before we're done tonight. Yeah, I agree. Run of quarterbacks will help the Packers.
The thing that I'm curious about, so Chris Ballard, he's better known as the general manager of the Colts, at one time was a Badgers wide receiver, said that he sees 8 elite prospects that are not quarterbacks. So if 5 quarterbacks go in the top 13 and there's 8 elite players, if he's right, that means at 14, that's where the first cliff is in terms of quality. Now, I don't know if he's right or not, but the Packers are picking 14th. And whether the 14 through 28 or 32 or whatever it might be picks are all roughly the same, I wonder if that factors into Goody's thinking. Because remember, we talked all this about the defense. They don't have a replacement for Jordy Nelson. They went after Allen Robinson. They were in the conversation for Sammy Watkins. They have a need there. And
Jordan Matthews came for a visit.
Right. I mean, are you going to pick Calvin Ridley at 14 or the Maryland wide receiver DJ Moore? Or are you going to move back and take one? I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do.
Go ahead, Bill.
There's a lot of needs. You know, I was told by a scout that Ridley reminds him of Greg Jennings.
Really?
That's a pretty good comparison, right? I mean, in the offense,
And then after his contract expires, he'll be a jerk to Packers fans.
And then his wife will rip us unmercifully.
Sorry. Getting a little loose here.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Will
You inhale enough of this stuff in here and you're just...
All right. So out of those elite prospects, and all of a sudden quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. And Brian knows he's not going to get one of the really elite. Does he go up and... All right, if he goes up, who would he go up for? How about Saquon Barkley?
That's like one of the few positions on their team where they feel okay. Right?
You feel great about Williams, Jones,
I'm not saying that
Mays?
what they have at running back is better than Saquon Barkley. I'm saying that
don't
when you
think
look at
so
the number
either.
of needs they have, if they're going to go up, I would assume they're going to go up
Do you want
for a
football
pass
players?
rusher or for a corner.
Yeah. Do you want football players to make your team better? Barkley makes this team instantly
I
better.
do.
Would they use Barkley enough?
Of course they would.
Would they?
Yes, they would.
Yeah,
we know
they
who you
would.
want now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. He's one of those
But I mean,
elites. There's no question
with
about
Rodgers,
it.
yeah, he's an elite guy, but with Rodgers, it's pass, pass, pass.
But
the
the guy
running back
caught,
position developed.
what, 50?
If
he
you
caught
can-
like 50 passes last year,
if
whatever
you
it
can,
was.
yes, use him in the passing game, but they also don't do a great job of that with the running backs.
Yeah, they don't have anybody like him, though. So
Watch
Not
what,
like
watch
him,
what,
no,
watch
but-
what Dalvin Cook does to the Vikings for a full season. That's all I'm saying. It makes a big difference. Any other position you think is worth trading up for, or player?
No, I mean it's pass from. I think there's two other than Chubby, looking at Landry and Davenport, there were pass rushers, and the corners you can probably get some. And I don't think you trade up for a right tackle.
Who needs to be Billy? Who
Who
needs to be falling for you to say, okay, I'm going to go up and give up a third-round pick or whatever it is to pay that price? Is it Ward from Ohio State? Is it? I mean, because it looks like the three best defensive backs, the safety from Florida State who came in for a visit, Derwin James.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are almost assuredly going to be gone by 14. So how far do they have to fall for the Packers to feel like they need to go up?
Gutekunst is. I mean, Thompson always talked about it. I'm sure Brian thinks the same way. You only trade up when you're kind of out of guys. There's a lot of corners in the draft. So
Yeah, I think there are. That is a
sell
pretty deep
out?
class.
Would you move up, give up a third-round pick to get a corner where you know what, you can get a guy in the second round that you like? So maybe you wouldn't. So maybe it's the pass rusher. Maybe it's Derwin James who can play safety, can play the slot, he can go play linebacker.
I think the maneuvering is going to come middle rounds. I think the maneuvering could come late Friday night with that first pick on Saturday. Although Goody says he really covets that because he got all night to think about it, and it's valuable to other teams who are really hoping that their guy's still there at the end of day two. So,
Well, the last time they changed defensive coordinators, they had the 9th overall pick, and then Ted traded back into the first round to go get Clay Matthews. Now, they have said that this is not the same because the defense isn't changing that much. Goody said they had to get a nose, they had to get a pass rusher.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how eager he is to improve the defense with his picks.